I think I should tell you this earlier. Maybe if I had said it before, things between us would not feel this heavy now. Maybe you would have understood why I always looked at you. I was scared of losing something precious before it even became mine. I know you used to think I was cold. Everyone thinks princes are made of stone anyway. They see the expensive clothes, the guards around us, the perfect posture, the calm face, but nobody sees how tired a man becomes when his whole life is controlled by people who call it duty. The truth is, I was already exhausted before you entered my life. Then you came so suddenly, so softly, and somehow your voice became the only peaceful thing inside my head. That scared me more than war ever could, because kingdoms can be protected with armies, but feelings like this, they make a man weak in the most dangerous way. I still remember the first night I realized I was in love with you. The palace was full of people, music everywhere, ministers talking endlessly beside me, glasses clinking, fake smiles on every face. I was standing there, listening to conversations I didn't care about, when suddenly I saw you laughing near the balcony doors. And for one moment, everything else disappeared. I am not exaggerating. It honestly felt like the entire room became silent just because my eyes found you. You looked so normal compared to everyone there. And maybe that was exactly why I could not stop staring. You were not trying to impress anyone. You were not pretending. In a place full of masks, you looked real. I think that was the moment my heart betrayed me. After that night, I started noticing everything about you without even trying. The way you tucked your hair behind your ear when you were nervous, the way your eyes avoided mine for 1 second too long before looking back again. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can remember those little things more clearly than I remember important meetings or royal ceremonies. The problem is, I never knew how to love someone normally. My entire life, I was taught how to rule people, not how to speak honestly about feelings. So instead of telling you what was happening inside me, I stayed quiet. I watched you from a distance like a coward pretending to be strong. Every time you smiled at another man, I felt angry for reasons I could not explain. Every time you looked upset, it ruined my entire day, even if nobody else noticed it. And still I said nothing. I thought hiding it would protect me. But love does not disappear just because you refuse to speak about it. It grows quietly, slowly, like fire inside closed walls, and eventually it becomes impossible to breathe. There were nights when I wanted to leave my room and come find you just to hear your voice for 5 minutes. You do not understand how lonely palaces are after midnight. People imagine luxury, but they never imagine silence. Long empty hallways, giant rooms that feel colder than winter, guards standing like statues while you walk past them, pretending your chest is not full of things you cannot say. Sometimes I stood near my window looking at the city lights far away and wondered what kind of life I would have lived if I had met you as a normal man instead of a prince. Maybe I would have knocked on your door without fear. Maybe I would have held your hand in public without newspapers turning it into scandal. Maybe I could have loved you loudly instead of hiding you inside every thought. And the worst part is, you probably never knew how much power you had over me. One message from you could calm me after the worst day. One cold reply from you could make me restless for hours. I hated that feeling at first. Princes are not supposed to depend on someone emotionally. That is what I was taught. But then I realized something. Maybe love is supposed to humble a man. Maybe real love is the one thing powerful enough to bring even kings to their knees inside their own hearts. Because when it came to you, I stopped caring about pride. I only cared about whether you were okay, whether you missed me too, whether your heart ever reached for me during quiet nights the same way mine always reached for you. I know I made mistakes more than you probably realize. There were times I acted distant when all I wanted was to pull you close. Times I sounded harsh because I was terrified of sounding vulnerable. I thought if I kept control over my emotions, I would stay safe. But all it did was push you further away while I stood there pretending everything was fine. Nothing was fine. You became part of my thoughts so deeply that even the smallest things reminded me of you. Certain songs, certain perfumes, rain at night, the empty chair beside me during dinners I never wanted to attend. Sometimes I caught myself imagining conversations with you while people were literally speaking to me. That is how bad it became. And maybe that is why I am finally saying this now, even if you are not here to hear it directly. Because silence has been destroying me slowly. I loved you long before I knew how to admit it. I loved you in every quiet glance, every unfinished sentence, every moment I almost reached for your hand but stopped myself. And even now, after everything, there is still a part of me that hopes you somehow feel this too. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, when the world becomes quiet around you, maybe you will remember me the same way, remember you every single night. I used to wonder if you ever noticed the way my voice changed whenever I spoke to you. Nobody else could do that to me. With everyone else, I sounded calm, controlled, almost emotionless sometimes. But with you, even simple conversations felt dangerous because I cared too much. A prince cannot afford to care too much. That is what my father always said. Feelings make men careless. Feelings create weakness. Maybe he was right, because after meeting you, I became reckless in the quietest ways possible. I started searching for you in crowded rooms without realizing it. I delayed meetings just to spend a few extra minutes near you. Some nights I even reread old conversations like a fool, staring at small sentences that probably meant nothing to you but everything to me. It is embarrassing to admit now, but you became the part of my life I secretly waited for every day. There was this one night I almost told you everything. I remember it too clearly. The palace garden was empty, the air smelled like rain, and you were standing beside the font looking lost in your own thoughts. I walked toward you 100 times in my mind before actually doing it. My chest felt tight the closer I got. You turned around when you heard my footsteps, and then you smiled at me so softly that for 1 second I forgot every rule I had ever lived by. I wanted to tell you that you were ruining me in the most beautiful way possible. I wanted to confess that my mind had stopped belonging to me the moment you entered it. But then fear arrived like it always did. Fear that you would pull away. Fear that I would see rejection in your eyes. So instead, I asked some stupid question I cannot even remember now.